Hey guys, welcome back to Sip and Dip with Chelsea. During today's video, I will be teaching you how to apply gel polish on top of dip powder without the gel polish peeling off. Major shout out to today's video sponsor, Kiara Sky. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. Without further ado, let's dive in. Here are their instructions on how to prep your nails for dip powder application. So first, you want to make sure that your hands are clean. Next, gently push back the cuticle, then remove the shine from the natural nail plate. Last, apply their bond. If you want to use tips, here are some instructions on how to do that. Feel free to screenshot this to refer back to for your prep. I'll be using Kiara Sky's base liquid and their natural dip powder. So I've been getting asked a lot about what is the difference between the natural dip powder and clear dip powder. So basically, natural is just a little bit less transparent than clear. It works great as a base when you're trying to build up an apex because it fills in more of those imperfections on your natural nail plate. Now with clear, it is completely clear, so it's transparent. You can use clear when you're building up an apex, so they are interchangeable when it comes to building an apex on your nail. But the difference between them is that clear can also be used to encapsulate on top of color or glitter, so it protects it when you go to file, shape, and buff, but natural cannot. Natural is not completely clear, so you cannot use it to encapsulate. I will be using natural today because that's just my personal preference. I love it for building an apex. If you do not have natural, you can also use clear to build up an apex. With my base liquid, I'm going to do one small stripe down the center of my nail, then dip into the natural dip powder and tap off. So that is our first layer. It's just one small stripe about 3/4 the way back towards your cuticle area and then dip into the powder. So I follow these same steps for the rest of my nails. Once they're dry, then I dust them off. Now for my second layer, I'm going to do a full layer. So I'm going to go all the way back towards my cuticle area and all the way over to my sidewall, making sure I do not get this product on my skin and just having a nice even coat of the base liquid on the entire nail. Then I dip into the dip powder, tap off, and this is layer number 2. I follow these same steps for all of my nails, just gradually building up that apex. So you might be wondering why you would even need to do all of this. Why not just put gel polish right on your nails? So this process goes out to everyone who feels like they need more strength. This dip powder apex is going to provide more strength underneath the gel polish. It's also a really great alternative. If you wanted, you could totally file off just the gel polish color when you're sick of it, you want to change it out, and apply a new gel polish color right on top of your dip powder. You could fill the dip powder. There's so many great options with this process when it comes to changing it out, doing new colors without having to completely soak everything off. All right, we're all done with layer number 2. Once they're dry, then I dust off the excess powder. So my third coat is also going to be a full coat coverage of my base liquid and then dipping into the natural dip powder. So for this length and shape, I'm going to stop here with my dip powder apex because this is all I need for strength. Remember, I'm going to add 2 layers of gel polish and a gel top coat on top, so I really do not want it to get too thick. But if you have longer nails, feel free to add more dip powder layers that you feel like you need for strength. At this length, this is all I'm going to need. Once they're dry, I dust off the excess powder. Then with my Seal and Protect, I'm going to apply a very generous layer of this to all of the nails. Wait 2 minutes for it to harden so that I can file them into shape. If you've ever experienced peeling of your gel polish or gel top coat on top of dip powder, you know how frustrating that can be. It might be because the nail surface, so the dip powder, was too smooth for the gel to properly adhere to. So skip the buffing block. Grab a 180 grit nail file instead and rough up that dip powder so the gel can really grab on. It won't be able to grab onto a smooth surface, and that might be why your gel polish or gel top coat is peeling right off. So here are what my nails look like after filing them into shape. You can see I did not use a buffing block. That was just a 180 grit nail file across the entire top surface. They are very etched and ready for my gel polish. I'll be using Juicy from their Freshly Peach collection. It also comes with a matching dip powder, which is gorgeous as well. I love their brush for application. It makes it so seamless and easy. I'll be resting my hand on this dip powder jar just to help me balance a little bit. I remove all of the product from one side of my brush and then a little bit more on the other. You do not need a lot of product when you're doing gel polish. The key to making it not peel right off is thin layers. It won't be able to properly cure if you do the layers too thick. I start my brush away from my cuticle area, that's all the excess product, and guide it back. You can see the way that the brush fans out. It makes application so easy. I'm just going to remove some of that excess product off of my brush and then guide it all the way around my sidewall area. I cannot get over how seamless it applied, and that is all thanks to this rounded brush design. I always make sure to also cap off that free edge, so you'll see me go here with my brush, making sure I get all across the nail. So this is layer number 1 of our gel polish. I follow the same steps for each of my nails, just guiding that excess product back towards my cuticle area, fanning out my brush, and then dragging the excess product down, avoiding my skin, getting all the way tucked in up on those sidewall areas, and capping off my free edge. I've also been getting asked why my natural nails look a little bit blue. So in this new house that we moved in, it is a 2-story house. I work on the bottom floor where the AC unit is at, and the thermostat for the AC unit is upstairs. So with it being summertime, it's just running all day. I basically work in an igloo. It is freezing, so I'm just cold. I promise I am perfectly healthy. My nails are healthy. We are thriving. There is nothing wrong, but I wanted to let you guys know, if you notice recently why my nails look a little blue, it's because this Florida girl is freezing. So like I mentioned earlier, another reason for peeling can be because the gel polish was applied too thick. So make sure you're doing nice thin layers. Do not worry if your first layer is not completely opaque. We're gonna go over it, so trust the process with our second layer. Also, if you do get any of the gel polish on your skin, you can use a cleanup brush with some rubbing alcohol on it and just wipe it right off before you cure. Now cure for 60 seconds. Now it's time for our second layer, so it's going to be another thin coat across the entire nail, and check out that coverage. It is so flawless. I'm obsessed with this gel formula, the way it levels out. Y'all know how I feel about this brush. The way it curves in my cuticle area makes it so easy to apply. Then capping off my free edge, of course, here is that second layer. So like I mentioned, it's really important to cap off your free edge. That is going to seal it all in. So be sure to get all the way over to that edge so that you can really seal the product in when you go to cure. So if you've tried all these steps, you're not using a buffing block, and you are still experiencing peeling of a gel product on top of dip powder, I would suggest using a gel base underneath. So let's say your gel top coat is peeling right off of your dip powder and you're at your wit's end. You made sure you didn't buff the dip powder and there's nothing else you can think of to do. I would suggest doing a gel base underneath the gel top coat, cure for 60 seconds, and then do your gel top coat. This might help with the gel top coat to have something to grab onto. Then I cure for 60 seconds, and this is the gel top coat that I'll be using. I apply a thin layer of this across the entire nail, really getting up around my cuticle area and those sidewalls, and making sure I do not get this on my skin. If you get this product on your skin, be sure to clean it up before you cure. And of course, capping off that free edge. So capping off the free edge is super important. That is going to protect the color so that it doesn't chip, it doesn't break, it doesn't peel. But it's also equally important to not apply the top coat too thick because it cannot properly cure. So if you're experiencing peeling with your top coat, it could be because you're not getting all the way to those sidewalls, that free edge, or it might be because something as simple as it just being applied too thick. Let's say you're like, Chelsea, listen girl, I've already done all of these things. I am still having peeling on top of my dip powder. Maybe it's time for a new lamp. Maybe it's time for a new bulb. How old is the lamp that you're using? It might be time to start looking at the equipment that you're using, or maybe even some of the products. Then cure for 60 seconds, and now with some lint-free wipes and rubbing alcohol, I'm going to remove the tacky layer on top of my top coat. This step might not be necessary for you if you have a no-wipe gel top coat. And we can't forget to apply our cuticle oil. This scent is lavender and it is heavenly. I love the formula of this cuticle oil as well. It's not greasy or too oily. It absorbs right into my skin so I don't feel super slick afterwards, and it's very hydrating. All right, y'all, we are all done. This pink right here is living her best life. She has a moment all to herself, and it is beautiful. I love a solid color mani. There is something about it so clean, so simple. I'm obsessed. Thank you so much, Kiara Sky, for sponsoring today's video so I can keep making content like this for you guys. I hope that you found today's video helpful. Feel free to leave more content suggestions or any issues that you've had with gel polish on top of dip powder below. I'd be happy to help or troubleshoot with you. And thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video.